How you doing today? Starting out at the top of your mat with your feet hip width apart, palms together at heart center. Closing your eyes. Let's set an intention. Could be anything that resonates with you. Opening your eyes, releasing your arms down into mountain pose. Taking a deep inhale as you raise your arms overhead. Palms together, interlacing those fingers. Taking a little back bend here. Tucking that belly button to the spine. And exhale, swan dive. Inhale, opening your heart forward with a flat back. And exhale, stepping back into a high plank with your right foot and then the left. We're going to hold it here in high plank for a few deep breaths. Keeping your hands underneath your shoulders, extending your legs back, releasing your shoulders down your back, releasing your glutes. Tucking that belly button to the spine, and then releasing your knees down to the mat, elbows in as you sink all the way down, belly to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog and holding it here. And exhale, coming into your child's pose. Big toes to touch. And sitting your hips back to your heels, releasing your forehead down to the mat. Checking in with yourself. And then making your way back up to all fours. Lining up your hands underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. Coming back into a high plank. And holding it here. Extending those legs back behind you. And then lifting your hips up, coming into your first downward facing dog. Pedaling those feet. Extending through those arms, wrapping your outer arms in. And then releasing those feet. Again, you never have to get your heels all the way down to the mat. You could always keep a slight bend in those knees. Releasing your head. We're going to step those feet out the width of your mat, coming into a wider downward facing dog. You could bend your knees a little bit here and then walking your hands back to your feet, bending those knees, grabbing onto your thighs, taking it into a couple cat-cows here. Exhale as you come back down and inhale as you round. Two more. And then coming back down, hands down to the mat, walking your hands back into your downward facing dog. And then stepping your feet about hip width apart, lifting your heels up and coming into your plank. You can slide those feet back if you need to. Reset for your plank, extending through those legs, bringing those knees down and sinking all the way down, elbows in. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, coming back to your down dog. Pedaling those feet a little bit more. Then lifting, you could slide that left foot over a little bit, lifting that right leg up into three-legged dog, bending the knee and opening up to the right, squaring those armpits to the mat. You could bring that knee in towards you and around in a circular motion. We'll do it 2 more times. And then stepping forward into your fold. Releasing your head down, Taking a deep inhale as we come all the way up, palms together overhead, and exhale down to heart center. Taking another deep inhale as you come up and reach overhead, releasing the shoulders down, away from your ears, and then bringing those hands down to your hips. So we're going to challenge your balance here a little bit, just bringing that right knee up. You don't have to bring it up too high. Holding it here for a breath or two, and then stepping back into a low lunge. You could always tap those toes down or step right back into your low lunge. Finding your balance, looking straight ahead, taking a deep inhale as we come up and reach up overhead, bringing those palms together, interlacing your fingers, releasing your shoulders down away from your ears, and taking it back if it feels okay for that lower back, opening your heart forward and up. And then releasing down, placing your right hand on your mat. You could always use a black block underneath your right hand, and then opening up into a little twist here, tucking that belly button to the spine, releasing that arm down and bringing it around, inhaling and then exhaling as you open. 2 more. And then holding it here. And then stepping back into your downward facing dog. Lifting that left leg up into 3-legged dog, bending the knee and opening up to the left, squaring those armpits to the mat, and then bringing that knee in and around. 2 more, as long as it feels okay. And then stepping forward into your fold. Taking a deep inhale as you come up overhead, palms together. And exhale down to heart center. And releasing those arms down to your sides. Coming into a little balanced pose on the opposite side this time. So bringing that left knee up. Again, you don't have to bring it up too high. Holding it here for a couple deep breaths. Releasing your shoulders, lifting the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Finding a focal point straight ahead. If you want to just tap down before you step back, or just bring it straight back into your low lunge. Inhale as you bring those arms overhead, palms together, interlacing your fingers, and lifting up, opening up. And then releasing your arms down to your sides. If you wanted to use your block for the opposite hand, or press those left fingertips into the mat as you open up to the right into your twist. Releasing that right arm down and around. Two more. And then holding it here. And then stepping back into a high plank. Releasing your knees or sinking all the way down, elbows in. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, coming back to your downward facing dog. Lifting that right leg up into 3-legged dog and stepping forward into your warrior 2. Aligning your back arch with your front heel. If you wanted to use your block, placing it on the inside of that right foot, and then cartwheeling those arms all the way up. So making sure those feet grounding down into your mat, releasing your shoulders down, away from your ears, finding that focal point here. And then making your way into your extended side angle, you could always bring your arm to your thigh and lift up towards the ceiling if you wanted to reach down for your block, pressing that elbow into your inner thigh. You could switch up the level of the block. Keeping that front knee aligned. And releasing down. Now if you wanted to, if you have your strap, we're going to come into a little bind here. With or without the strap, we're going to take your strap and half it, place it across your thigh, and then coming back into your extended side angle, bringing that arm or hand underneath, taking this left hand, grabbing onto your strap or underneath right here, or grabbing onto your fingers and opening up to the ceiling. And then release, placing your strap to the side and stepping back into your down dog. We're going to lift that left leg up into three-legged dog and stepping forward into your warrior two on the opposite side. Aligning your back arch with your front heel. Placing your block on the inside of your foot, cartwheeling those arms all the way up. And finding your focal point straight ahead. Maintaining that balance. Keeping that knee in line with that second toe. And settling into your warrior two. Making your way into your extended side angle here. Depending what you did on the outside, doing the same thing. And then making your way into your bind. So if you use the strap, placing that strap on your thigh, bringing your right hand, palm facing away, grabbing onto the strap, left hand underneath. So depending where it feels right for you to grab onto, and then opening up to the ceiling. And then release. Stepping into a forward fold here. Bending those knees, releasing your rib cage down into your thighs. Taking a couple deep breaths here. And taking a deep inhale as we come up. And reach overhead, palms together. And exhale, bring those arms down by your sides. We're going to come into our balance pose once again. Keeping your feet hip width apart, finding that focal point straight ahead. And then bringing that knee up. Even if it's a little bit, even keeping the toes down. If you wanted to grab onto the back of your thigh or underneath your knee, extending through the crown of your head. Coming back to your breath. And then if you wanted to bring it to the side a little bit. And then slowly release. Pedaling those feet and switching sides. Mirroring what you did on the opposite side. And then if you wanted to open up, oop. And then slowly release, coming back to the top of your mat. Keeping your feet hip width apart, taking a deep inhale as you come up. And exhale, swan dive all the way down. Inhale, opening your heart forward with a flat back. And exhale, stepping back with that right leg into a low lunge. Taking a deep inhale as you come up, palms together overhead. And exhale, bring them down to heart center. And coming into a little twist here. You could take your elbow on top of your left thigh or on the outside of your left thigh and opening up, pressing into that left big toe. If you wanted to extend through that right leg, as long as it feels okay. And then stepping forward into your fold. Bending those knees, releasing your head down. And then taking a deep inhale as you come all the way up. Palms together. And exhale, swan dive. Inhale, opening your heart forward with a flat back. And exhale, stepping back with that left leg to a low lunge. Inhale as you come all the way up and reach up overhead, palms together. And exhale, bringing those palms down to heart center, coming into your twist. If you extended your back leg on the opposite side, doing so on this side also. And then stepping forward into your fold, bending those knees, releasing your head, and then rolling up, releasing those shoulders down. We're going to grab both of your blocks and coming into a pyramid pose. So placing your blocks underneath your shoulders, all right, or underneath your hands, which are underneath your shoulders. Keeping that right foot in between those blocks. And then if you don't want to step tandem, you could bring that left foot out to the side. This challenges your balance a little bit, just keeping those back toes on a diagonal, pointing towards that left corner of your mat, the top of your mat. Squaring those hips to the front of you. And from here, sitting those hips back, shifting your hips back, opening your heart forward and releasing down. So pressing into that right big toe. You could always lower your blocks down and releasing your head. If you wanted to reach back, grabbing onto your forearms, interlacing your fingers. And then release. Coming into your forward fold, bending through that front knee. And sink down into your fold. Now rolling up. Release the shoulders down, we'll switch sides. So stepping back with that right leg this time, mirroring what you did on the opposite side. Shifting those hips back as you open your heart forward and reach down for those blocks. Always listening to those hamstrings. And then release. Bending into that front leg, placing your blocks to the side. Oh. And then sinking down into your fold. Taking a deep inhale as we come up, palms together overhead. And exhale, swan dive. Inhale, opening your heart forward with a flat back. And exhale, stepping back with that right leg and then the left into high plank. Tucking that belly button to the spine and coming back into your down dog. Allowing those knees to sink all the way down to the mat, coming into child's pose here. And taking a breath or two, acknowledging how you're feeling so far. Making your way into pigeon pose on the right. You could come straight from here, or if you wanted to take it into another downward facing dog first. Lifting your right leg up into three-legged dog, pulling that knee in and the lower leg across the mat, releasing the left knee down, sliding that left leg back, pointing your toes back behind you, keeping that front foot flexed, opening your heart forward. Now you could use one or two blocks here. You could always stack them and rest your forearms on the blocks or your forehead. Making your way out of pigeon, placing your blocks to the side, bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, sliding that left leg forward, bringing that right leg back, and coming into a child's pose. Making your way into pigeon on the opposite side. Pulling that knee in, lower leg across the mat. Sliding your right leg back, pointing your toes back behind you, opening your heart forward. And then sinking down. Coming out of pigeon, placing your hands underneath your shoulders, bringing that right knee forward, left leg back, coming into child's pose, spreading those knees a little bit wider. If you wanted to release your arms on your thighs. And then making your way up into a seated position. Bringing your feet about hip width apart. And lowering down. Extending through those legs. Making your way into Shavasana. Arms along your sides. Softening your breath. Namaste.